Many of you pointed out in our first online discussion how you were surprised that comics have been so political throughout their history, and certainly not all comic books are, but quite often are, as we could see in the documentary, the comic book Superheroes Unmasked. Um, and so on the one hand, it is kind of surprising when we think of comics as this kids thing, or we think of comics as throwaway. To really think of them as these powerful political tools, these powerful argumentative tools. But on the other hand, popular culture has always been involved in making arguments, and been involved with the politics of the day. And so, it's we see it in music, we see it in literature, we see it in the visual arts, really any form of pop culture, TV. Um, Constant political discussion and arguments being made. Uh, but on the other hand, it's these political arguments and these arguments are being made in a way that we don't necessarily think of as political or argumentative, in that it's done through stories. We often think of politics and arguments as two people debating, or someone making a very logical, deliberate argument, or reading an essay, as opposed to a story. And so part of what I want us to do in this discussion, or one way you can go for your comments over the next couple of days, is to think about, why is popular culture such a powerful tool for making arguments and for dealing with politics. And part of that I would answer is storytelling, that human beings understand issues through stories more than we understand them through logic necessarily. That our beliefs are founded on narrative, as opposed to just logical, laid out arguments. And so, some directions you might go. One would be to think about when you were a kid. What was one of the first times that you realized that something that you were watching, a TV show, reading a comic book, listening to a song, where you weren't trying to get an argument out of something, or you didn't think you were being told a message, but that you kind of realized, oh, this is not just a story. This is something that is shaping my beliefs. Was there a song? Was there a TV show, a cartoon, a comic, a movie, that it kind of dawned on you, that it was a surprise to you that, oh, this is political in a particular way, or it's making this cultural argument in a way. So that's one direction to head. And then another thing kind of playing off of that is that a good thing or a bad thing? Of course, that's oversimplified, but when can that be a powerful thing, a good thing, and when can it be dangerous? Propaganda. In the video, one of you pointed out in the conversation, Michael Chabon, who wrote a great book, a novel, The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay. He plays with this in the novel, but he's also discussing in the documentary that comic book creators, in some ways, they were creating these anti-fascist or anti-Hitler arguments with Superman, or with Captain America punching Hitler in the face, and making an argument trying to get the U.S. Involved in World War II. But that there's a danger in that they were simply replicating the fascist belief systems that might makes right. Well, if you have the powerful Superman, or you have the powerful Captain America, that's really all it takes. That might makes right. And also, as someone else pointed out, that superheroes have this kind of master race element to them, and vigilantism to them, that are quite scary in some ways. And so think about, with pop culture, think about your examples when you were growing up, but also think about theoretically what are the problems with pop culture making arguments, and so I look forward to reading your responses.